Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I am Felrus, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends, here to give you like the full event extravaganza of the week, guys, because there is quite a bit going on. So the first thing that we've got going on is this Community Weeks Titan event. We've already gone over it. We already know what this is. We can get the 5-star split soul for Udex Artor, who we have all almost gotten from the reward calendar, guys. If you're not logging in to get your rewards, make sure you do that so that you can get your free champion Udex Artor here, available from fragments. It's super cool that they're doing a free fragment legendary this time, because it means that we can pull them for a PR CVC or a champ chase or something like that, and then we can get the extra added benefits and points and rewards from that. Guys, we also have a Shadowkin Summon Pool that I believe just started today as I'm recording this. Real quick, click the link in the description to get a free Bambus as well as Ugo at level 15. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. This is where you'll find your free Bambus as well as Ugo at level 15. This gives you an insane start in Raid Shadow Legends, so click that link and let's crush this together. With the highlight champion, the Tetsuya the Deliverer, actually I think the first or second event for this champion. He was released a while ago. I think he has a pretty awesome kit, and there's not much content out on him out there, which is kind of cool. So on his A3, a decisive persistence. You know, actually, let's start with the A1 this time. A rapid laceration attacks one enemy, fills the turn meters of all allies by 10% if this attack is critical. He is a damage dealer, right? Which is pretty cool. Turn meter fill on everybody by 10% is massive, right? Honestly, in Hydra, you could just probably spam the A1 and get so many extra turns for everybody else. It'd be insane. And then Preternatural Tactician on a 3-turn cooldown when booked attacks one enemy 2 times. Will place 2 extra hits if the target's turn meter is less than 50%. So potential quad hitter A2 here. Will ignore a percentage of the target's defense equal to the target's current turn meter, which could be really good, right? You could ignore like 75% to 100% defense, depending on, you know, how things are looking. Again, really good in Hydra. This is single target damage, right, which is good for Hydra. Resets the cooldown of this skill if the target is killed. Could also be really good for Arena on a go first team, right? Especially if the speeds are kind of neck and neck, and then everybody has full turn meter. By the time he gets a turn, he just goes in and absolutely wipes someone, right? So then on his A3, decisive prescience. I'm not entirely sure how I pronounce that. On a 4-turn cooldown when fully booked. Attacks one enemy, steals 100% of the target's current turn meter, and places a True Fear debuff for 2 turns. Shadowkin Unity, 1 faction ally. The turn meter steal effect and True Fear debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. Dang, that is huge. 2 faction allies, increases the damage inflicted by the skill based on the difference between this champion's speed and the target's speed. Again, that's a really interesting mechanic, considering that we have some ignore defense based on turn meter, right? 3 faction allies will also attack all other enemies with more than 50% turn meter, steals 100% of each target's current turn meter, and places a True Fear debuff on them for 2 turns. So again, not a proper AoE, but he does have an AoE, could be good for Arena, could be good for Hydra. Now, you either want to build this guy super fast or super slow, and honestly, I would, if I was running him with other Shadowkin, you know, super slow would probably be what I'd do if I was running 2 faction allies, just so that I didn't have to compete with other people's speeds and maximize the damage output of that skill. Then, Scourge of Mikage on the passive here fills this champion's turn meter by 15% whenever an enemy champion takes a turn. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Shadowkin Unity, 1 faction ally. Turn meter increase effects used on allies are 20% more effective. Turn meter increase effects used on enemies are 20% less effective. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. 2 faction allies. Whenever this champion has their turn meter filled, increases the damage of their next attack by 5%, resets after a skill is used. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. 3 faction allies. All allies are immune to turn meter reduction effects from enemies. Dang, that is a pretty darn good passive. So you could use them on a go first team in Arena. You could use them on a go second slow team in Arena. You can use them in Hydra. Very, very good champion here. The rest of the summon pool is honestly pretty interesting. We've got Harima in there. Harima is a really good champion, especially because of her Demon Slayer passive, which ignore defense effects are decreased by 50%, which is great. She has a provoke, right? She has a instant activation of her AoE nuke. She's a defense-based nuker, which is pretty cool. And then she has something where I think Demon Spawn can't crit her, right? So this champion cannot land weak hits on champions from the Demon Spawn faction. Champions from the Demon Spawn faction cannot inflict critical hits on the champion. Read that out of order, but she's a very good champion, right? Lady Kimi is a fantastic champion as well. She's got a pseudo buff strip, block buffs. She's got a passive here. Imperious, whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, also decreases that enemy's turn meter by 5% for each debuff placed. Whenever this champion or an ally receives a debuff, fills their turn meter by 5% for each debuff received. I have noticed that this is bugged with Esme, so Esme will actually activate this passive for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but I do believe that that is what is happening. Gamaran, recently buffed, is a very good champion as well. He's got this target dead or living enemies with a block revive. Each enemy will receive damage equal to 20% of the target enemy's max HP. If the target is a boss's minion, the damage equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. This attack cannot be critical, will ignore any shield buffs and 100% of each target's defense, which is pretty cool. Gamaran is pretty good. Mishinaki is pretty good as well. He is the OG Hydra champ, which is so very good. Very good champs here. Very good champions. Very good epics, right? Kinagashi, the only Shadowkin reviver, is pretty good. I have a soft spot for Jurojin. He's not the best in the world, but he's not awful either. He has a provoke and stuff. Masamoto isn't great. Taragi the Frog. Taragi the Frog is pretty good. He's got a provoke. He's got shields. He's got ally protection, decreased attack A1 when poisons. So this is definitely a very good summon pool. I will not be going for it. But if you want Tetsuya the Deliver, it's definitely not a bad event. I will say having Arashi in here is kind of disappointing. I have Arashi and I don't use him outside of Faction Wars. So there is that as well. Okay, so what else do we have going on? Well, we've got a champion training tournament for Mikage's Soul. This tournament is honestly insane, right? You've got a couple days to do this, right? But this is honestly insane. Like, so very, very high value rewards. We're getting soulstone, gems, titan points, primal quartz, more titan points, Lego book, mythical book, and then 500 of the big soul coins. And then if you can get first place and earn at least 20,000 points, you can get a 5-star soul for the free mythical champion, Lady Mikage, as well as a mythical book. The lesser tier rewards aren't bad either. Honestly, it might be worth going in to snipe this Lego book and the soulstone for a CVC. And then, of course, top 10 really get some of the medium soul coins here, the immortal soul coins. This is honestly a crazy tournament. I feel like, 15,000 points for the Mikage soul should be enough. But they made it 20, so that's extremely expensive. This is already expensive to complete, and if you want the Mikage soul, you're gonna have to go like all in for it. So definitely could have been better there, but if you want the Lady Mikage soul and you're prepared to wail out a little bit, more power to you with that. Now, we do have the Gear Ascension Tournament coming up. That starts today. You're going to be able to get a free Prism Pull, as well as Primal Quartz and Immortal Soulstone. So the best stages to farm are going to be the very last stages of Sand Devil and Phantom Shogun. Those are going to be the most point efficient. But if you can't do that, the most efficient stage is actually stage 15. It'll give you the most points for your energy. So stage 15 on both Sand Devil and Phantom Shogun in order to complete the Gear Ascension Tournament. That starts today. As always, make sure that you do your clan boss keys and everything. Hydra is going to reset tomorrow, so make sure you do that. And then, of course, Siege. Make sure you guys set your Siege defenses or participate in the Siege battles, guys, because you guys got to do that to get your feral gear and everything. We haven't been able to participate in the Siege in a while, so I think we're going to be doing that today. That'll be absolutely awesome. We also have this Deck of Fate event where we can get artifacts and accessories by raiding dungeons or doing campaign and summoning souls for soul stones. We can get some pretty interesting rewards here. So there's a legendary book up for grabs. There's a couple shards. There is a 5-star speed glyph, which is great, as well as gilded medallions. So the gilded medallions are what we need to craft the clan relics. So if you want to get in there, pull some souls, do some dungeon divers for a shot at getting some of the clan relics, definitely do that. I think the best one is the Temporal Stagnator. So if we come over here, the Temporal Stagnator is what I voted for as far as voting relic is concerned, but that's not going to win. unfortunately, but I think it's very good. I think it's very good. There's the Essence Quencher, whereas damage is increased by 20% of the target's turn. Damage cannot be increased by more than 10%, 5% against bosses. So, I mean, that one's all right as well. But yeah, definitely get in there and do the Deck of Fate event if you would like to do that. But I think that's pretty much the breakdown. I think that's pretty much the breakdown of all the events that are going on. Make sure that you snag whatever it is that you want to snag, whether it's the Mikage Soul or the free Prism summons, or if you're going to do the summon pool. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I have been Felrus, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends, and I will see you in another video.